Welcome back, everyone, for yet another video in this month. And I think in this one, I'm finally going to explain the hiatus reasons. Honestly, for a few reasons. One, I've actually been kind of going back and forth with Google a little bit about a few things, but we're good to go now. So that's taken care of. Secondly, I had a surgery and I think I'm good now. It wasn't like life-threatening or anything crazy, but it did have to do with my face, so it's an important part of like talking in videos and whatnot. But anywho, I'm back, so let us get back to it. And let's have another video for this month of October. I'm trying to catch you up for my lack of being here. Anywho, what if I told you that there is recorded evidence of psychics? Which I'm not talking about like Miss Cleo or anything. I mean like some real kind of psychic stuff. What if I told you that not only is it recorded record of this, but this psychic was also a detective? And what if I told you that this psychic actually has actual documents you can look up to prove their validity of some sorts? Anyways, let's jump into the story a little bit, and I can kind of just explain what I mean by all this. Arthur Price Roberts was a man of unusual talents born in 1867 in Wales. His talents, of course, already kind of spoiler alert, he was a psychic. So he knew that he had special gifts at the time, and he purposely, I don't know how you purposely do it. I guess you could just do this stuff in the 1800s, I don't know, but he purposely skipped out on grade school because when he initially tried it out, he said that he felt it was interfering or getting in the way of his special talented gifts. So I don't really know what kind of intellectual level he was batting at, you know what I mean? I don't know his read, write comprehension, reading, writing, arithmetic, whatever. I don't know any of that, but he believed that the schooling and whatever was going on in schooling at the time was somehow hindering or suppressing his psychic gifts. So he bounced. He eventually moved from his hometown of Wales to Milwaukee, of all places, and this is where he started to gain his recognition and go by the name Doc, which is kind of dope. But he would go by the name Doc, and this is where he started to get some of his first breakthroughs, and by breakthroughs, I mean cases. In Peshtigo, Wisconsin, a man named Duncan McGregor all of a sudden seemed to have vanished out of thin air in the summer of 1905. Nobody really knew where he went. They had search parties and tons of other people searching for this missing man for quite some time, to the point that his wife eventually got desperate. And so desperate that she ended up turning to Doc for some assistance. I don't know why, but the funniest thing about this is when she ended up reaching out to Doc, he basically pulled like the oldest psychic trick in the book. So like when she walked through the door, he was like, "I knew you'd be here." I don't know why I find it so, this is like so cliche, but whatever, man. He knew. So after he took on this case, and also I forgot to mention, I think he actually was known a little bit as a psychic detective by this time, because I mean, how often do you hear that? But he ends up going to work on the case, and apparently one thing that he does to get it going is he just simply meditates. So he's meditating and he ends up seeing visions. I don't know how this works, but he sees visions of the husband, and he is in this Peshtigo River, and he left very intricate details such as he's caught between like these rocks or these branches, different things along those lines. And whenever they decided to send people out there to go find this man, he was there in the exact same way, in the exact same details described. Which, I mean, you know, there's so many different ways you could spin this. Maybe he got lucky? Probably not. But maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe this guy just somehow knew. Maybe he was a hiker, and that would be crazy if he saw a dead body and was just like, "Ooh, this would be good for later," though. But who knows? It's like, I don't know, it's 19 something at this point, 1905. So, I mean, I don't know what they were on back then, but yeah, whenever they went there, the body was there in the exact details as described. So do with that as you will. He would go on to solve many, many more cases. And the next one up, I do think is a little bit particular because it's a little bit different. Now, Milwaukee and Wisconsin, they're, I guess, kind of close-ish in comparison to the next place I'm going to name. So this particular fellow ended up coming to Doc out of desperation as well, because his brother had gone missing for quite some time and nobody knew of his whereabouts. So he hits up the Doc and he says, "Hey, where's my brother at?" Turns out this guy's brother was in Albuquerque, all the way in Albuquerque. And he ended up being somewhere stuck in the Devil's Canyon. So it was a very remote spot. And I mean, that's very difficult for a random person to just spitball that out of nowhere. Because if I remember correctly, I don't even think anyone knew that his brother was going to be going on that trip. So yeah, he kind of just found him randomly in literally a crevice of the earth from miles and miles away, according to his meditation and psychic abilities. Another very strange and interesting case. I'm probably going to butcher this name. I believe his name was Ignatz Potts. I don't know. But I do know that according to this, Doc helped this man. Apparently he was going to get executed for crimes, but somehow Doc was able to find damning evidence to prove his innocence and actually found this evidence for this man and prevented him from being executed. So, I mean, it's very peculiar cases that Doc is helping people out with, and he's actually pulling it off. So, I don't know. I think I've talked on past videos about how there were CIA documents explaining some of these abilities, and they actually explained some of the exact things that this guy was doing before those documents even surfaced. So it's very funny when it comes to all this like psychic stuff that was in those CIA files. They definitely mention like you have to be meditating, and it has to be like this, I don't even know how to describe it. It has to be a level that's almost something that you picked up as a kid, and it just gets stronger and stronger over time, almost like developing a muscle. So I don't know. Again, I'm just a dude who has work in the morning, so it is what it is. Now, I'm pretty sure there's already some type of movie floating out here about this guy, but this next case is crazy because he couldn't fully save it, but he tried. But this literally sounds like a Hollywood blockbuster movie. So like, strap up for this, because I don't know why they didn't teach this in American history. This is crazy. So one of Doc's biggest cases that he worked on was when he tried to warn the city of Milwaukee, his new hometown, of course, that it was about to be hit with very, very, very crazy damage. And by crazy damage, I mean gigantic explosions of dynamite. Now, for some reason, and I find this a little bit weird in the story, nobody believed him, which I think is kind of crazy. It's like you guys used him to solve so many other crimes. I don't know why you didn't at least take it with a grain of salt. They were just like, whatever, nothing ever happens here. And he was like, no, like seriously, some buildings are probably about to crumble. Some stuff is going to happen. And I'm telling you guys, I've seen the visions. It's going to happen. Well, it turns out, yeah, stuff started happening. And by the way, I just did the math on this, okay? Listen. This guy was able to find a missing person that was 1,782 miles away, tucked away in Devil's Canyon. So again, a crevice in the earth, and nobody, you didn't even halfway listen to the guy, and he was able to pull that off. Like, come on, bro. Like, whatever. But yeah, let's keep going into this case. So he predicted that it would be 6 explosions going off in the city of Milwaukee. Nobody believed him. And literally about a week later, explosions started going off in the city of Milwaukee and destroying structures. So 5 out of the 6 bombs went off, and in the process, they ended up losing banks. They lost, I believe, maybe the police station. It was just kind of crazy stuff. They ended up losing like the town hall. It was overall ridiculous, and I don't know why they didn't listen to him. Well, after the first 5 bombs went off, and he's already predicted it's going to be a total of 6, now they decided to listen to Doc. So they ended up bringing in the federal police, and the federal police wanted to find Doc immediately, bring him in, and try to figure out where this last bomb was going to be. So when the federal police linked up with Doc, he told them that the final bomb would be located near the Menomonee River, hope I said that right, just south of it. So they ended up swarming the entire area. They had sharpshooters. They had all of these people just looking and searching around for a bomb. Well, in the midst of them looking around for any suspicious activity, one of the houses south of that river basically just blew sky high almost into the air. So they were like, okay, well, that's bomb number 6. Yeah. Try next time, boys. And it turns out, luckily, no one was actually damaged, but the explosion was so loud that it could be heard 8 miles away. So overall, there definitely was casualties, unfortunately, in all of these incidents and tons of damage. But somehow they said this is probably the best case scenario that could have happened, and I'll explain why in a second. But first, I do want to say that they did find the perpetrators, and it happened to be 2 boys. One was 18, one was 21 years old. The reason why I say this is one of the best outcomes that could have possibly happened, unfortunately with the casualties and all of the damage, is because whenever they caught the boys, they were making an even bigger bomb that was about 50 pounds. And luckily, it actually backfired and nothing happened. But who knows what could have happened when a 50-pound dynamite bomb went off in the city of Milwaukee in the early 1900s. So they caught the boys, and I'm pretty sure they went to jail. So yeah. Doc's final prediction was actually of his own death. In 1939, when he was with his friends, he told one of them, hey, next year in 1940, it's going to be my final year. Whenever they found him, he predicted exactly on the day, January 2nd, 1940, and he was found dead peacefully in his bed. Believe it or not, out of the stories that I have told, even though they were all pretty wild and crazy, that was only the tip of the iceberg, because these were just a few of the people that were brave enough to come forth and admit that they were working with a psychic detective. Legend has it that there are actually plenty of stories, and that was only the tip of the iceberg, because many other police departments and other people were far too embarrassed to admit that they were able to be helped by a psychic. So, do with that information as you wish. That's been another episode in this series. Hope you liked it. It's very weird. As always, I encourage you, please do your own research. If you find anything different, let me know in the comments below. Let's share it all together. And please, if you please, could hit the like button. That helps us out. Fight this nasty YouTube algorithm that would rather you watch, I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel all day or something weird. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So I want to keep making more weird content for you guys like this, take deeper dives. Have you ever heard of this psychic detective that goes by the name Doc? Have you ever heard anything like that? Have you ever heard anyone say that, I don't know, they may have a special gift and they feel like, I don't know, school is going to hinder it? I thought that was peculiar, so I don't know. Let us know down in the comment section below. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video.